Hi, this is Dr. Praveen Kumar Kaushik and I welcome you all in Om Learning classes. And during this lecture, we have discussion about quadrature carrier multiplexing or quadrature amplitude modulation. And this QAM modulation technique is for analog signal. So this is also known as analog quadrature amplitude modulation scheme. In order to resolve the DSBSC bandwidth inefficiency problem, the QAM is utilized, and that is bandwidth conservation modulation scheme over DSBSC, and it enable two DSBSC modulated wave while consideration the application of two physically independent message signal. And when we utilize both the two independent message signal, the QAM modulated wave occupy the same channel bandwidth corresponding to both the messages. And at the receiver, the separation of both the messages are allowed by QAM detection. So we can say that in QAM, two independent message signals are transmitted, and by utilizing the basic principle of QAM technique, we have the bandwidth conservation system, and that have advantage over DSBSC modulation scheme. So for the mathematical representation, we have the two independent message signal that can be M1T and M2T. The MT is corresponding to our modulating signal. The M1T and M2T are corresponding to two physically independent message signal. And we utilize the carrier signal CT AC cos 2 pi FCT and C dash T that is equivalent to AC sin 2 pi FCT, where the C dash T is quadrature phase version of the carrier signal. So by utilizing modulating signal and carrier signal, we have the modulated or transmitted QAM signal which is equivalent to ST, and that is equal to M1T into AC cos 2 pi FCT plus M2T into AC sin 2 pi FCT. We can say that the multiplexed signal occupies a channel bandwidth of 2 omega centered on carrier frequency Fc, and where omega is our message bandwidth. We are assuming that both the input messages are common to their occupied bandwidth. So the first modulating signal, which one is M1T, is multiplied by our carrier signal, that is CT, and the second message signal M2T is multiplied by the quadrature phase version of the carrier signal, and both signal are added, and that addition gives the transmitted or modulated QAM wave. So as per this mathematics, we have the diagram representation. In the diagram representation, we take two physically independent message signal, modulating signal M1T and M2T, and by utilizing balanced modulator, which is our product modulator, we have the output. That first output is corresponding to M1T into AC into cos 2 pi FCT, and the another output is corresponding to M2T into AC into sin 2 pi FCT. And by taking the addition of both the signal, we have the output that is our ST, which is our modulated QAM wave, and this is our transmitter QAM diagram. And very important, if you mention analog QAM, it is better, as the QA modulation technique are described for analog signal as well as for digital signal. And for analog QM, this is our transmitted diagram. Now this transmitted or modulated QAM signal is transmitted via channel, and at the receiver we have the received signal, which is our transmitted or modulated signal, that is equivalent to ST, and which is equivalent to M1T into AC cos 2 pi FCT plus M2T into AC sin 2 pi FCT. Now as per this received signal is simultaneously applied to two separate coherent detector, which is also known as synchronous detector, that are supplied with two local carrier signal, and that carrier signal is AC dash cos 2 pi FCT and AC dash sin 2 pi FCT. So as per mathematics, the output of the top detector from product modulator, we have the output signal, that is R1T, that is equal to our received signal, which is our ST, into the local oscillator signal, that is AC dash cos 2 pi FCT. And when we multiply this signal and pass from low pass filter, which is oriented according to bandwidth of our modulating signal or maximum operating frequency of the modulating signal, we have the output of the top detector, that is equivalent to 1 by 2 into AC dash into AC into M1T, because the M2T signal is filtered by low pass filter, as their multiplication of this M2T signal, which have the sin 2 pi FCT component with it, and that sin 2 pi FCT component is multiplied by cos 2 pi FCT, and that make sin 4 pi FCT, and which can be easily filtered from the low pass filter, and we get our desired first modulating signal, which is corresponding to estimate of our M1T signal. And this is also shown in the figure. The received signal is there, and the received signal we have two detector, top detector is there, bottom detector is there. In the top detector we have local oscillator signal, that is AC dash into cos 2 pi FCT, and in the bottom detector we have the local oscillator signal, that is AC dash sin 2 pi FCT. And after low pass filter we get the output corresponding to estimate of M1T signal, which is the output of top detector. And similarly we have the same process for bottom detector, and from bottom detector we have the output corresponding to estimate of our second modulating signal, which is corresponding to M2T signal. And this is thing we can also observe corresponding to our mathematics. And in mathematics, the output of the bottom detector from the product modulator is represented by R2T, and which is equivalent to our received signal ST into AC dash into sin 2 pi FCT. And we put the complete detail of our received signal ST, and when we multiply by sin 2 pi FCT and pass from low pass filter, we have the final output, that is equivalent to 1 by 2 into AC dash into AC into M2T. So in QAM, similar to our suppressed carrier modulation scheme, we have the synchronous detector, and two synchronous detector, or you can say coherent detector, are utilized, and which have the basic fundamental that the phase and frequency of the local oscillator signal must be coherent or same with respect to our transmitted carrier wave. So if we observe the important fact regarding QAM, then for the system to be operated satisfactory, it is important to maintain the correct phase and frequency relationship between oscillator used to generate the carrier in the transmitter and corresponding local oscillator used in the receiver, which is our basic need of our coherent detection at the receiver end. So as per the synchronous detector, the receiver become complex and costly. Then there is one provision that if we utilize the synchronization technique at the receiver end, the complexity and cost of the receiver design can be reduced, and the synchronization technique which are popular, that can be Costa's receiver, that can be pilot carrier, that can be scaling loop, are utilized for synchronization in phase and frequency of the carrier at the receiver end with respect to transmitter carrier wave instead of utilizing local oscillator at the receiver end. So we can say that this synchronization technique avoid the need of local oscillator at the receiver end. That is the important part of synchronous detector. And if the local oscillator need is avoided, then the receiver design can become less complex and less costly in comparison with synchronous detector with local oscillator for receiver. So with this, we can conclude that the bandwidth conservation system can be maintained by utilizing analog QAM, which have the advantage over DSBSC modulation scheme. And as per the complexity and costly receiver design, we can reduce this complexity and cost by utilizing synchronization technique, which can be Costa's receiver, which can be pilot carrier, which can be scaling loop at the receiver end for coherent detection. So in next lecture, we are going to discuss these synchronization technique in detail. So this is all about analog QAM modulation technique. So thank you very much for your precious time. Stay healthy and enjoy smart learning. And please subscribe this channel for getting regular updates. Thank you very much.